Good morning. Yes, it's 4:15 a.m. This is on Imagination with the Healing Garden, and this is Shifting Perspectives. I couldn't sleep. I had my usual 3 a.m. The universe is shifting things around, and in the middle of it shifting things, it woke me up, and I went, "Oh, I have an epiphany. I do this every morning." And then I laid there until about now when I had just eye-opening epiphany after eye-opening epiphany. I feel like I play chess very much with my partner. It's a different kind of chess. And I have this chess game going with him, this mental chess game, while I also have this mental chess game going on with the Healing Garden. And they're both related. It's like I'm playing 3D chess. And I've got one platform with him, one platform with the garden. And then I have my own development that just unfolds. And as one of these pieces shifts, not a piece on the chessboard, go bigger, always go bigger. It's the entire chessboard shifts. So while I'm playing chess here and chess here and chess here, I'm also seeing the chessboards themselves move as actual chess pieces, as if they themselves are a chess game within a chess game. And then when it shifts, there's this moment where the entire meaning changes. And then I can fully comprehend things on a different level that I did not see before that I was missing. This is the art of epiphany. This is the art of epiphany. I was not expecting to find this. This is like a magnificent treasure that I stumbled upon after my healing. This is the most extraordinary treasure that just fell into my lap. And I started off with me noticing it, and I've mentioned it in my videos prior, like, wow, I can't believe I've said that in 20 minutes. I'll articulate something and I'll feel like 2 hours has passed, and I'll look at the timer and it's only been 5 minutes. And it blows my mind how much material I can cover in a very short period of time. And it's all about communication, and we're downplaying it. And I really need us all to go bigger. So I'm gonna take us bigger. We're gonna span out for a bit, and I'm gonna show you the big picture on this one. I watched the Matrix movies when they first came out. I hated them. I don't remember the third one. I don't even think I think I got 5 minutes into it and I was like, ugh. The second one, I wiped it from my memory. I did not enjoy it. But the first one was a masterpiece. That was extraordinary. And the thing with the Matrix is a lot of people looked at it and went, cool, sci-fi. And I was one of them. At that time, I saw sci-fi. And then Oprah released this article on The Matrix is Real. And I did not watch any of it. I did not watch any of her material. I just saw that it was trending, The Matrix is Real. And then I shifted into the seventh perspective and I went, oh, there's the Matrix. And you can see it. And then I had my perspective shift to the eighth. And that's when you can step into it. That is the moment when Neo flexes and the bullets just move around him. And I went back and watched The Matrix with this new insight. And I can tell the point right at a very moment where I went, okay, the authors, the writers, they get to this point and they could see the matrix. This was them at perspective 7, and they tried to communicate what they were seeing to the world. And it went over our heads. It went over all of our heads because they lacked the communication to articulate it. Or maybe they didn't. And this is what I don't know about them. I don't know if they could see it and they just decided to use a different medium to communicate it to the rest of the world, or if they actually had the ability to articulate it and communicate it, and they just did their best with this Matrix movie, using it all in metaphor. Metaphor is phenomenal for, and that's how everything starts when we communicate. We start off with metaphor, and then we refine our speech, and it becomes literal. The speech you are using right now is fourth stage perspective speech. All of us have mastered the art of fourth perspective speech. Well, that is so not true. There's many people who don't. There's many people who don't even get past the second stage perspective with communication. There are communication skills that occur at every perspective stage. That's what I discovered. It's not just vocabulary. It's the articulation that comes with it. And my podcast videos are the proof, are the living examples you can take and just watch the words that come out of my mouth. It's not the vocabulary. It's the precision. It's the articulation. It's the ability to condense a single thought into 5 words or less. It's so much more than just vocabulary. It's improvisation. And this isn't something that you can just go and study. It's not available yet. And that's what I'm doing here is I'm breaking it down. I had so many realizations. Some of the dearest people I love are paralyzed by speech. So this is a personal solution that I'm on. That if I can unlock this code, that if I can figure this out, I can help unlock the vocal paralysis of some of the people who are most close to me. The Matrix shows you, this is the fourth perspective. It is, and I don't remember the character's name, the dude with the glasses. He says to Neo, the Matrix is what they want you to see. It is the illusion. I'm going to correct this and say it's the delusion. So the Matrix starts off in the fourth perspective. You see the illusion. You see what they want you to see, what everyone believes is the perspective. And we all go around thinking that there is only one perspective. And there is only one truth. And it's the truth that is. And we're all looking for the ultimate truth. Good God, my years in philosophy have really focused on that particular topic. What is the truth? And that's just it. We're on this massive pursuit of truth. That is what all of us are doing. We're all shifting our perspectives around, trying to figure out the ultimate truth. And the Matrix shows us that the ultimate truth is an illusion. They are right. The illusion, according to the Matrix movie, is this science fiction, dystopian, nice place to live in, when in fact they live in a dystopian shithole. And we watch Neo get pulled from the fourth perspective into the seventh perspective. in a very literal sense. The delusion is taken away. He's thrown in the reality, and they're showing him this is the truth. And this is where I say that's where their explanation is very seventh perspective, which is why I think, and I don't know, but I think the writers of The Matrix made it to the seventh perspective, not the eighth. Because if they had made it to the eighth, they would have written a completely different movie. So you're in the seventh perspective, and Neo has this, oh my God, this is reality. So this is the real truth. We've been given an illusion for truth. Now, seventh perspective, that is absolutely accurate. You're in the seventh perspective and you're going, oh my God, the fourth perspective has it all wrong. And you try and spend your life communicating to every people around you, friends, family. How do I show you my perspective? And when you're in one of the perspectives, when you get close, you can see the next perspective. Once you figure out that you're shifting between perspectives in life, you can see the next one coming. You can kind of get an idea. I can see the ninth perspective. I can't articulate it yet. Oh, believe me, I'm going to be all over YouTube articulating that shit when I can finally see it. But I'm not there yet because I have to make it through the eighth. There are milestones that every perspective has that we have to check off. That once we accomplish those milestones, then the next one gets closer to us. Now, I'm new to the eighth. I'm exploring the eighth perspective right now. I'm seeing the world differently. I'm in the stage where I'm going back and I'm looking at everything that happened prior and I'm going, whoa, this changes everything. A lot like when you're reading a Harry Potter book. I say this a lot. And you get to that seventh book and you go, whoa, and you finally get the big picture of the whole series. Well, that's what I'm trying to, that's it. You are in the fourth book of the Harry Potter movie. Harry Potter book. You're in the fourth. I'm going to say the movies right now because I need 8 for this example. You are in the fourth movie. The Matrix is the fourth movie. The Matrix is about showing you a Harry Potter film. Hey, you think you're in the fourth movie? Let me show you the seventh. And it takes you over to the seventh movie, 7 part 1. And then Neo is sitting there going, whoa, except you actually live in the books. Let's go a step further. Let me try this with you. The Matrix movie is one movie, and you think that's your world. No, I'm going to pull from my favorite movie, the Lego movie. You are living in Everything is Awesome. With big, oh my God, that is so accurate. With Mr. Business. And then Neo falls into, well, Cowboy World, the Wild West Lego set. And it's like, oh. And it's not until you get to the end of that movie that you're looking at the whole Lego world and you see what's really going on. That is what happened with the Matrix movie. They were trying to show you, look, you think you're living in the fourth perspective? There's the seventh perspective. And I'm an eighth going, we need to tweak that just a little bit. There are eight different matrices. There are 8. Actually, I think there's 7. The 8th is when you have the ability to finally see all of the matrices. That's what I'm trying to tell you. That it's a phenomenal film. Okay, so here's the fourth perspective. This is the truth. This is where my philosopher cap really comes on, and I step in and say, truth is subjective. Truth is subjective. And truth is defined only by our perspective. But there isn't one perspective like the fourth perspective has us all thinking. There are 8 perspectives. There are 8 truths. There are 8 variations here. And the fourth perspective are forcing everybody else to make sure we all see the world through their perspective. And that's causing a lot of mental sick for a lot of people. That is making a lot of people very sick. Because we're not meant to live in someone else's truth. We shouldn't be doing it. We weren't designed to do it. And that's the problem. Is so many of us are being forced to live in someone else's truth instead of defining our own truth. So when you step out of your own therapy, when you end your healing journey because you've healed, what you're really doing is defining your own truth and your own perspective, and then realizing, oh, my abusers were just of a different perspective, forcing their perspective into mine. So you restore your perspective to your truth, and you're better. And you can stop using behavioral defenses to conform to a truth that was never meant for you to begin with. Yeah, it's that simple. But you need communication to understand any of this. And when every time that we open up the door to the next perspective, we open up the world to another line of communication. And this is the problem. This is where we really run into issues, is the words haven't been invented yet. We're lacking vocabulary for the 8th perspective. We're lacking, no, that's it really. We're just lacking vocabulary. But there are communication skills that are mastered at each perspective level. God, this is so important. This is it. So how you communicate at perspective 2, your job is to master certain aspects of communication. Like, I don't know, I haven't made this up yet. I haven't studied it and sat down and defined it. And that's what I'm doing. This is all that my podcast is doing, is defining this shit. Because I stepped into the 8th perspective and went, well, actually, I stepped into the 6th perspective and went, some shit is going down and I don't know what it is. So I started podcasting to record what my perspective was happening to my brain, because I realized at the 6th perspective that it was not documented and it was unprecedented. So I turned YouTube into my laboratory and made it into my literal scientific journals where I could document my own progress as it happened. In my situation, as it turns out, it's not a private journal, it's being exposed to the world, which is fantastic because, well, everyone needs to learn this shit. Because this is it. This is the problem. This is the solution. And there are certain milestones of communication that we hit at each and every, the words have not been created yet. There are milestones we have to hit at each and every perspective to master that perspective's skill set. And it's not just the ethical milestone. And that's it, really. We grow ethically. We have ethical growth. And that is the purpose and the point of every single perspective. It's like an ethical classroom. And imagine it's broken down like grade school. You have your first grade, your second grade, your third grade. And there are curriculums, milestones, achievements that must be unlocked for each and every grade in order to advance to the next. And we call it failing and passing, which is really toxic labels. We really need to not do that. It isn't failing and passing. There aren't expectations that, oh, you've all got to advance. Everyone is different. Some people are only going to make it to stage 2 and they're done because you have to prioritize growth over comfort. You have to hit certain achievements and milestones. And the focus needs to be prioritizing education, wanting to nurture and move from perspective to growth. When I started watching Star Trek, I was in awe. I went, ooh, because it showed me a perspective I had not yet achieved. That's it. When we watch science fiction, we are seeking out an advanced perspective greater than our own that we can aspire to for growth. And then there's going to be a point when you watch so much science fiction that you're on par with it and you get bored with it because you have advanced and the writers are only at stage 5 or 6, maybe 7. And then there was a point where Star Trek will become boring because they're not giving you a new perspective, which defeats the whole purpose of science fiction, which means the next stage is you becoming the writer for the future, which is what the authors of V for Vendetta Matrix did. They were most likely bored with all the science fiction that was out there because they maxed it out, because they weren't being shown a new perspective. And then they blew our minds with the Matrix because they showed us the 7th perspective. So here I am at the 8th going, now, the milestones for 8th, you get to articulate all of this shit. That's the difference. At 7th, at 7th, your communication becomes so useless that you can't articulate anything. I cannot explain to you how it felt like my legs were taken away from me. And then this is part of the stage 7 growth. You realize how valuable communication is. And then you realize if you want anyone to understand you, you had better fucking find the words to articulate this shit. Or you're just going to sound like a madman the entire time. Now, the writers of The Matrix found a way to articulate their insanity at 7th. And I found a way to articulate mine. And what I was not expecting was to unlock the 8th perspective through my articulation. Because the only way you can get from the 7th to the 8th is by mastering communication. Once I did that, I realized that this has all been about communication. Our words are everything. It's why I'm teaching communication lessons. I was teaching emotion lessons at first, and I went, what the fuck am I doing? Why am I teaching emotions? Well, I know why. Because we neglected to teach them properly way back in the 3rd perspective when we were supposed to be learning them. The milestones for each of these is supposed to be an emotional milestone, and that gets you to the next level. The other one is an autonomy, mastery. You have to master autonomy to get to the 5th perspective. If you don't master autonomy, you're not getting to the 5th perspective. You may want the 5th perspective, but if you can't master autonomy you're not going anywhere. Because that's the doctorate's degree. Every one of these is a doctorate's degree. Think about it like that. So that I'm still trying to figure out where emotions fit into all of this, because they require a mastery. And I would say I mastered emotions at the 6th stage. You do not get to go on to the 7th until you master emotions. You do not get, and mastering emotions does not mean never feeling them. That's stunting your growth. You don't get to go into the 7th perspective until you master your emotions. You don't get to go onto one of these levels until you master your ethics. The 7th. The 7th stage is about mastering your ethics. It's like the reward is unlocked. Oh, you've mastered your ethics? We're going to give you the 8th now. Oh, you've mastered your emotions? Now you're ready for the 7th. The 8th perspective is communication. I have no idea what is in the 9th. The 5th perspective is autonomy. You do not get to graduate to the 6th perspective until you master autonomy. The 5th perspective is all about mastering your autonomy, which is why so many, most 5th perspectives. God, this feels so fucking good. I know the words to say. We're all making our way through life's grade school. That's the perspectives. Every perspective is basically a grade school, and every one of them has a mastery. And once we master one of the grades, we get to go on to the next. But no one is overseeing this mastery. No one is coaching us. This is life. So we're all just going by it a bit by bit, doing our own thing, winging it, because no one has the big picture. Until now. So life is realizing that there are 8 different truths. Not 1, 8. And every truth is true according to your perspective. So this whole bullshit about someone saying you're wrong, oh, don't you dare. No, you are going to respect my perspective. I will be respecting yours, and you will be respecting mine. I'm going to do a whole video just on respecting perspectives. I get comments on my YouTube channel about people basically disrespecting my perspective. So we're going to have a talk about respecting the different perspectives. Wrong, assuming why a person is behaving the way they are doing, excuse you. Gaslighting. That's what gaslighting is. It is perspective abuse. Gaslighting is perspective abuse. But we're all saying gaslighting because of a movie, because we saw an example. We speak first in metaphor. Once we master the metaphor and we gain comprehension, then we get to speak literally. Literal speech is the reward for mastering metaphor. So, in the 1950s, a movie was made, and a whole lot of people went, that's what I've been trying to say. It's you're gaslighting me. And that's the best we can do. And then we all argue for the next 50 years about what the word, oh God, I'm old. And then we all argue over the next 70 years what the word gaslighting means. The words you are looking for is perspective abuse. Stop abusing my perspective. Do not disrespect my perspective. Please, here are the words, use them. Stop saying gaslighting. Call a chair a chair. When you change the name to something, you define it. And when you define it, you can process it. We can't process our traumas because we lack the words for doing so. So when someone abuses your perspective, you got to figure it out. And you just reel and your head spins and your head spins. And the best we can do is give you a 70-year-old metaphor, gaslighting. But that's not good enough. You can't get over it. You're spinning and you're processing. It's time to move on to the literal. It's called perspective abuse. They disrespected your perspective. They disrespected your truth because we are taught that there is only one truth. And if you don't believe in that one truth, you're lazy, you're stupid, you're messed up. Pick your abusive language. Name calling is perspective abuse. It's the labels we put on other people of other perspectives because we fail to understand them. It's like you've got a bunch of 7th graders. No, it's like you've got a bunch of 3rd graders calling the 2nd graders names. And you've got the 4th graders all saying, everybody's got to be like us. And there are so many 4th graders that we're being forced to be like all the 4th graders. So the 4th graders have bullied us into the 4th perspective. And all the 5th graders are going, fuck that shit. I'm going to go study autonomy over here. And they're going to go hop across the classroom. Woohoo, I'm a rebel. And they do. They're rebelling. They break out of the 4th classroom. And the 4th graders are going, no, you got to be the 4th grade. And the 5th graders are running across the school feeling free because they're going, yes, I am down with the man. And some of them are saying, you go study autonomy. I'm going to go study emotions. And the 6th graders take off. They go off on their voyage. They're off in the corner, smoking weed, talking about life, the universe, and everything, going, no, you know what I see, man? The Matrix is real. That's what I think. Yeah. And the 5th graders are sitting there building their businesses, going, I'm going to have my own business. I'm not going to let anyone tell. I'm going to have my own classroom. I'm going to be the teacher. Autonomy. I'm going to lead. That's all it is. 5th graders are the ones going, I'm going to lead. But your parent is probably a 3rd grader. Or your husband's a 3rd grader. Excuse me. And that's when things get violent. 3rd graders are abused horribly. And they are the ones who pay the abuse forward. In some cases. Not all 3rd graders are bad. 3rd grade is hell. 3rd grade is Lord of the Flies. 2nd grade. Second grade is playing around with your role in society. 2nd grade is about your identity. Fitting in. That's what 2nd grade is about. 2nd grade is about fitting in. It's making sure that everyone fits in. Everyone has an assigned role. The Maze Runner. The Maze Runner is a great example of this. Inside the maze, inside the community, inside the maze, that is stage 2 perspective. Everyone has a job. Everyone has to make sure the job is fulfilled. And then your job is important to making sure the system is run. You are part of the system. Communism is stage 2. It's understanding your role in that system. Stage 4 is all about law and order, making sure everyone follows the rules, which is why stage 4 hates stage 2. Let me translate that. Stage 4 are real political driven. Real political driven. Stage 2 is communist driven. That's why stage 4 and stage 2 don't get along. Stage 2 is what happens when a society does not evolve past the perspectives. In America, stage 4 is the governing perspective. But in Russia, it's stage 2. Putin just entered stage 3. That is why Russia is at war. Because Putin just evolved into stage 3 perspective. Lord of the Flies. Stage 3 is when you realize that you have autonomy and you have authority, and you can take them both for yourself. Now, this stage usually occurs when we are 3 years old, which is great for 3-year-olds. Your job is to put that 3-year-old in a playpen, give them their little Lord of the Flies environment, and let them figure it out in the safety of their own home. But that's not what happens. Perspective abuse happens. Parents abuse their children, neglect, suppression. Suppression is child abuse. Suppression is child abuse. And we all suffer from parental suppression. Suppression is the perspective abuse you suffer and experience from your parents. How did they suppress you? Did they abuse you, neglect you, threaten to take away your own survival skills, shelter, food, clothing, a society, a culture, a home? That does something to the subconscious mind. It freezes it. It teaches it it's not safe to grow. So you don't. So you get stuck in stage 3. But you get older and you're still in stage 3. And you get older and you're still in stage 3. Only now you're a 40-year-old man with a Lord of the Flies mentality. And some of those men run countries. Communist Russia, communist China, any communist culture is a stage 2 society. Stage 3 was Genghis Khan. Wow. Our beautiful imperializing England, the one that went all over the world and imperialized and colonized everybody, that was stage 3 when the UK was in stage 3. The UK then evolved to stage 4, and now they've got parliament, and they stopped invading people. Rome was stage 3 for a while. Alexander the Great was stage 3. So we've stalled out at stage 4. Now America is doing this split where there are people going this direction saying, it's time for me to go practice my autonomy. And stage 4, the 4th graders are going, no, we need order. We all have to be the same. There's got to be rules. That's stage 4. Everyone's got to conform and be identical. And they lack the communication, so they did their best to try and explain that Communism wants you to all be alike. No, it does not. That's stage 4, projecting onto stage 2. Communism wants everyone to fulfill their role to serve the leader. That's stage 2. Stage 4 wants everyone to be identical for the sake of conformity because they seek fairness. Stage 4 is obsessed with fairness, equality. Now, there's a problem with that. They take it too far. They're extreme. It's black and white. All of the perspectives are black and white. This is my favorite part of this. One perspective will go here. The next perspective will go here, and then it will balance out. Stage 7 is the balancing out stage. So stage 3 is the extreme. No rules. Stage 4 is the we need all the rules. Because I believe that stage 3 traumatizes everybody. So when you leave stage 3, you learn the lesson and you go, I appreciate rules now. But then you go the other extreme because you just came out of an extreme. So stage 3 is an extreme. No rules. Stage 4 is the I'm going to go from white way over to black because you're scared. Stage 5 is when you realize you got to have both. You got to relax a little there, guys. You need some kind of order there, stage 3. So stage 5 is a beautiful transition stage where you realize you need both. You need fairness and you also need authority and autonomy. So stage 4 is mastering the art of equality. Once you master the art of equality, you realize that you can relax now. Now, there's a lot of people who are still learning the art of equality. So they are obsessed with making America great again. And they are obsessed with making sure everyone's got a 9-to-5 job. And they look at the 6 stages and go, damn hippies. But the 6th stage needs to master their emotions. That's their weak spot. They need to master their emotions. They're all over the place. Stage 7, you have your communication ripped out from under you. And stage 8, you get your communication back. And that's where I'm at. I'm at the communication stage. I'm at the stage where I get to learn and master the art of communication because that's my perspective. When I finally get to sit down and go, all right, now I've mastered life without, and that's it. You have to master life without it. You can't master it until you see what life is like without it. So that's stage 7. You lose your voice. Like you will never lose it. You will just sit there gurgling like a child because no words exist. How do you explain any of this without the vernacular? That's when I realized where I was so different and so new that I needed to start articulating this. So, I got out of stage 7 fast. I got out of stage 7 fast. And I'm going to tell you, they take your community, they. Who is they? The universe? What is this? Who is doing this to us? Are we a science experiment in a petri dish? Because this is not fun. Actually, it's a hoot. Now that you understand, now that I'm at stage 8 going, all right, now this is fun. Life gets fun at stage 8. I'm going to tell you, stage 8 is where it gets fun. Yeah. Stage 8 is when you can chill and you've got this all figured out. And now you're just learning how to articulate it all. Stage 8 has been a blast. Stage 6 was a shithole. I hated 6. Oh my God. Stage 6 was all, what's my tarot cards say? What do my tarot cards say? Mercury retrograde. That was stage 6. I could not survive stage 6. But you got to master your emotions while the retrograde is upon you. And then stage 7, you have your entire voice taken away and you can't say anything. What would you say at stage 7? If I could talk at stage 7, what would I have said? Holy fuck, does anyone else see this shit? That's what I would have said. That is exactly what I would have said. And that is all I would have said the entire stage 7. Holy fuck, does anyone else see this shit? And then I would have talked like a babbling idiot because I would have had no ability to articulate any of it. But the whole model is based on the idea that I would. So what would I say? What would I say going back to stage 7? Does anyone else see that there are 6 perspectives all crammed into the same box? And it's called school. And I just got on the other side of this box and I went, well, shit. Now what do I do with my life? How do I live outside of the box? Wow, the box is a lot bigger than we thought it was. And there's not just one box. There are 6 boxes. And those 6 boxes are all crammed into one box. And that box is called the Matrix. And I'm just standing outside in the 7th perspective looking at it going, oh, holy shit. It's really lonely out here. It is another level of isolation when you get to level 7. Which is why you need to master the art of being alone. Which is another thing that stage 7 is about. Stage 7 is about learning to be alone. I forgot about that. It was really lonely being in stage 7. You really feel like your entire family has abandoned you. You feel the process when you move from 6 to 7, but you're not there yet. That's the transition. Sometimes you can get in a transition and be stuck between the perspectives. So you can live between 2 perspectives at the same time. I call this a soft 5, a hard 5, or a soft 6, or I call it 5-4, 5-5, and 5-6. That's what I refer to it as. So right now I am an 8-8. Before I was an 8-7. That's when I was starting to put together the words to articulate this is what's going on. When I was at a 7-7, 7-6 is when you are stuck. It's 7-6 and 6-7. When you're in that stage, that's the transition between 6 and 7. That's when you feel your family leaving you. That's when you feel all your friends leaving you. And you feel yourself going further and further away. This is stage 6. This is the end of it. When you feel all your family leave you. Stage 4 is the feeling of, God, I hate my job. I wish I had my own business. That's stage 4. Stage 4, when you get to the end of stage 4 and you're ready for stage 5, you think, I'd like to own my own business, I think. Welcome to stage 5. You're getting there. Stage 5 is, I'm trying to remember. You gain your ethical perspective when you're 4 years old, 5. So you could be actually at stage 6 most of your life. But because of abuse, suppression abuse, you get stuck. You get stuck and your ethical perspective is never realized. And when your ethical perspective is never realized, you end up, your subconscious mind forms around the perspective that you're told you have to function in. But you could be an ethical 6. You could be an ethical 8. I am a firm believer that you cannot be an ethical 7 or an ethical 8 until you get outside of the matrix. You might want to get outside of the matrix. You might have this longing to get outside, but you have no idea what that is until you're there. Every time I talk to somebody, stage 6s, and they're like, oh, I'm out. I think I am. Oh, no. If you are using the words, I think I am, then you're not out. Because when you get out, you know you're out. Because the very first thing that happens to you is you lose all ability to communicate because you are in awe and you are that isolated. You are so isolated because you have lost your own ability to communicate. And that is the lesson for stage 7. How to manage your isolation. And here's the thing, you don't get your family back unless you can master the art of communication to get them back. You're not going to get your friends back unless you can master the art of articulation to get them back. So you're going to lose partners, spouses, friends, family, children, and you don't get them back until you can master the art of communication so you can step into their perspective and say, I need to explain to you what happened to me. And then you've got to weave the magic to step into their perspective to get them back. I lost my daughter. I lost my daughter through this. My oldest, she's a stage 4. So when I turned hippie, she developed the whole damn hippie. But now I have the ability to communicate, so I can step into her perspective once I find the right words, and I can have her come back to me. Maybe that's why I do all of this. I just want my daughter back. And I want my partner back. Stage 6 is insanity. Stage 6 and stage 7 are insanity. It's not insanity. It is severe autonomy. It is intense autonomy where you have got to find yourself. That is the trial of your perspective. We all have trials that we must overcome in our perspective. And knowing what trial you face is going to go a long way to help you deal with what you have to work through. Let's call this classes that I'm going to be hosting to teach you how to navigate your perspective so it goes smoother and easier for you. Because that's life. Stage 4 loves to say, life is about paying taxes and you die. Oh, that is so stage 4. No, says stage 8. No, life is not about paying taxes and you die. Settle down there, stage 4. Life is about mastering and refining your skills through each of your trial by fires so you can grow and master life. But a lot of us stall out at age 3rd grade, 4th grade. Some of us make it to 5th grade going, I want my own business. And there's a lot of hippies out there who are off in the corner smoking their weed going, there's something out there, I tell you. Oh God, Cheech and Chong makes so much sense now. I get it. They were permanently stuck in stage 6. They never made it past. They never made it into stage 7. So you get stuck out at the weed stage where you just smoke and you analyze life going, you become a philosopher at stage 6. You really do. You got to figure shit out because you can feel something's there, but you've got to manage your emotions. If you don't master your emotions, you're not evolving on. But we don't master our emotions. We are taught to suppress them. Compliments of the 4th stage. So because the 4th stage is telling us you got to suppress your emotions, our growth does not go past stage 6. We don't go past stage 6 because there's no one there to tell stage 6, hey guys, let's work on your emotions. Once you master your emotions, it's going to unlock the next door. This is what you're going to find. First, you're going to go through the trial by fire of isolation, and you're going to experience so much isolation that your own voice is going to be taken away from you, but by nature this time. And the only way you get through stage 7 is by accepting your loneliness and welcoming it in. Really deep isolation. You have to abandon all hope of being understood. Because where you're going in stage 8, oh yeah, your words are going to depend. I said that wrong. Your ability to be understood is going to depend on how well you can articulate it. I really didn't like being alone. I really didn't like it. I learned it. I got it. I mastered it. I accepted it. I allowed the universe to just, all right, bring it. It was just me and the universe. We were really, really close there for a while. It was just me and the universe. That is the lesson of stage 7. Stage 7 is when the universe says, you're mine now. That's it. Stage 7 was very much you being claimed by the universe. And it's when you master loneliness and you accept it and you're comfortable and you really enjoy it that the universe gifts you with communication. And then you get to get everyone else back. But you've got to articulate it. I need to decompress. Decompression is part of epiphany. It is a mandatory stage in comprehension. So I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you for joining me. For more shit like this, follow me on YouTube. For even more shit like this, subscribe to my newsletter. And if you want an organized, if you want this material organized, condensed, and with purpose, sign up for my masterclasses. Thank you. And may the kindest of words always find you.